There comes a time in every man's life when he must learn that love alone is not enough. You can give your time, your loyalty, your tenderness, and still find yourself standing next to a woman who does not bring peace, but chaos. Not because she's evil or cruel, but because she's simply not ready to meet you where you are, a place of grounded strength, steady presence, and honest devotion. Many men, especially those who've carried the burdens of life with silent strength, raising families, building careers, enduring losses, are taught to endure, to fix, to hold on no matter what. And so when love becomes heavy, they think it's their job to carry more. But here's the quiet truth no one tells you. Not every woman deserves your peace. Your calm is earned, not owed. Your stability is the result of decades of hardship, discipline, and reflection. And the woman who walks into your life must either protect that calm or be prepared to leave quietly, because the cost of giving your energy to someone who thrives on disorder is far greater than you imagine. It's not just lost time. It's lost clarity, lost self-respect, lost purpose. Some women come into your life not to walk beside you, but to test your footing. They distract you with beauty, with charm, with sweet words. But over time, their true nature reveals itself not in grand betrayals, but in small, daily disrespects. In the way they question your boundaries, reject your leadership, or subtly compete with the very masculinity they once admired. You don't have to argue. You don't have to fix her. You don't have to convince her of your worth. A high-value man, especially in the second half of life, doesn't chase storms. He builds sanctuaries. He doesn't need someone who brings excitement through chaos. He needs someone who brings depth through stillness. So let this be your reminder. Not every woman is meant to be loved by you. Some are meant to be recognized, respected for what they are, and then released. Quietly, without drama, without regret. Because peace isn't just something you find, it's something you guard. And a man who knows his worth doesn't let anyone, no matter how beautiful, disturb the quiet he worked so hard to earn. Stay grounded. Stay clear. The signs are coming, and they will tell you everything you need to know. The 6 Stoic red flags of a low-value woman. Not every storm announces its arrival with thunder. Some creep in like a soft breeze, easy to ignore, almost comforting at first, until one day you wake up disoriented, drained, and wondering how peace turned into exhaustion. This is how low-value energy enters a man's life. And if you don't know the signs, you'll call it love, while it quietly unravels your foundation. Here are 6 Stoic red flags. They're not loud, they're not always obvious, but if you pay attention, they will speak volumes. 1. She thrives in conflict, but crumbles in calm. A woman who seeks constant emotional intensity doesn't crave connection, she craves control. In her world, silence is threatening, peace feels boring, so she manufactures chaos to feel alive. If you find yourself always putting out fires she lit, don't mistake that for passion. That's volatility disguised as love. A high-value woman doesn't need drama to feel depth, she brings presence, not provocation. 2. She hungers for attention more than intimacy. This woman is never truly present with you because her mind is always in the crowd. Her validation doesn't come from your eyes but from 100 nameless hearts online. She posts for the praise, not for expression. She flirts with the world and calls it harmless. And when you question it, she makes you the problem. But real connection doesn't demand a stage. It finds its power in quiet, shared moments, unseen and sacred. A woman who needs the world to tell her she's worthy will never hear it from you, no matter how loudly you love her. 3. She carries no mirror, only blame. Every mistake, every setback, every wound, it's always someone else's fault. You'll notice it in her stories, in the way every ex was toxic, every boss unfair, every friend who challenged her, suddenly jealous. And if she never owns her part in the wreckage of her life, you can be certain she won't own it in yours. In time, her chaos becomes your burden. You'll become her emotional garbage disposal, and the more you absorb, the less of yourself will remain. A Stoic man does not carry what others refuse to acknowledge. 4. She manipulates with silence, not strength. She won't raise her voice, but she'll weaponize her silence. When something's wrong, she won't tell you. She'll wait, withdraw, and force you to chase her emotionally. She wants you guessing. Because in guessing, you begin to doubt. And in doubt, you begin to bend. Emotional manipulation isn't always loud. Sometimes it's soft and subtle, but it's just as corrosive. A woman of value communicates with clarity, even when it's uncomfortable. She doesn't play games with love. She brings truth, even when it trembles. 5. She floats, but never builds. She talks of big dreams, but never moves toward them. She spends without planning, loves without loyalty, and lives without accountability. You'll be her anchor, her wallet, her therapist, and her escape, all in one. And while you work hard to build a life of stability, she'll resist the very structure she claims to want. If she has no direction, no discipline, and no willingness to grow, you cannot walk beside her. You'll end up carrying her. 6. She does not compliment your masculinity. She competes with it. She resents your strength. She bristles at your leadership. She takes your boundaries as threats, not gifts. A man who stands firm is called controlling. A man who leads with calm is told he's dismissive. You will find yourself explaining your nature, apologizing for your presence, and shrinking to avoid confrontation. And in the process, you lose the very essence that makes you magnetic. But a woman grounded in her own feminine energy doesn't fear masculinity. She honors it, she softens into it, and she grows stronger not by competing, but by aligning. These red flags aren't meant to condemn, they're meant to awaken. Because sometimes the most dangerous relationships are not the explosive ones. They're the slow, subtle ones that ask you to give up your peace one compromise at a time. The Stoic path is not about judgment, it's about discernment. Not about superiority, but about standards. You don't leave because you're better. You leave because you've worked too hard for your clarity to trade it for confusion. And when you learn to walk away not in anger, but in peace, you stop needing to prove anything. You simply say, "This no longer serves me. I choose stillness." And in that stillness, brother, you reclaim yourself. How a high-value man responds. With stillness and standards. A high-value man does not respond to chaos with chaos. He does not raise his voice to match hers or beg for peace when it should have never been withheld. His power lies not in domination nor in submission, but in stillness. In knowing exactly who he is and refusing to be moved by someone who does not honor that truth. When he encounters manipulation, he doesn't argue. He observes. He sees through the fog of emotional tactics, not with suspicion, but with clarity. And when that clarity shows him that the connection is not based on respect, he doesn't fight harder. He steps back. Because he understands that some storms don't need to be weathered. They need to be walked away from. A high-value man doesn't try to fix a woman who isn't ready to take responsibility for herself. He knows that love without accountability is just enabling. He doesn't call it loyalty when he stays in dysfunction. He calls it what it is, self-abandonment. And he refuses to betray himself just to keep someone else comfortable. That's not love. That's quiet self-destruction. When he sees that her energy thrives in disorder, he doesn't chase balance. He becomes the balance. He becomes the anchor. Not to hold her in place, but to hold himself in purpose. His role isn't to entertain chaos. His role is to protect the sanctuary of his mind, the dignity of his soul, and the direction of his life. He's not heartless. He cares deeply. But he also understands that his peace is not a gift to be handed out to someone who uses it as a playground. He's discerning. He listens more than he speaks. He doesn't react to provocation. He pauses, reflects, and then decides. This is where his power comes from. Not from control, but from conscious restraint. He sets standards, not ultimatums. He communicates boundaries clearly, without needing to threaten or guilt. He doesn't demand respect, he embodies it. And if those standards are not met, he walks away quietly, but decisively. Not to punish, not to prove a point. Simply because a man of value knows what he will and will not allow into his life. He also knows the power of grace. Not every woman who struggles is a low-value woman. But if she refuses to grow, if she weaponizes her wounds instead of healing them, if she expects love to rescue her from herself, then she's not ready for the kind of man he is. And he honors that truth, even when it hurts. Because the high-value man isn't trying to be perfect. He's trying to be aligned with his purpose, his peace, and his principles. And that kind of alignment requires sacrifice. It means choosing solitude over chaos, clarity over comfort, and truth over illusion. Not because he doesn't love, but because he loves himself enough not to stay where love is misused. This isn't cold. It's mature. It's what it means to be a man who leads his life with stillness, not noise, with direction, not reaction. And in a world that rewards performance and punishes pause, he chooses the latter, because he knows that strength isn't in chasing, fixing, or forcing. It's in knowing when to stop giving energy to what only takes and never returns. And when he leaves, he doesn't leave in pieces. He leaves whole. Because he never gave away the parts of himself that mattered most. He guarded his peace. He preserved his purpose. And in doing so, he showed the greatest kind of strength, stillness in the storm. Not every woman deserves your love, and certainly not your peace. That's not bitterness. That's wisdom. Because a man who honors himself must first learn this unshakable truth. Your presence is sacred. It's not something to be negotiated with chaos or traded for validation. It's something you protect. And sometimes protecting it means walking away. The path of the high-value man is not filled with noise or confrontation. It's marked by discernment. He doesn't rage when he's disrespected. He removes himself. He doesn't try to fix what someone else refuses to heal. He knows that love, in its purest form, is built on mutual respect, not emotional warfare. So when the signs appear, when drama replaces peace, when silence becomes manipulation, when blame becomes a pattern, he doesn't explain himself endlessly. He exits. This isn't weakness. This is the highest form of strength, restraint, stillness, detachment. Not from emotion, but from dysfunction. And when a man learns to walk away, not in anger, not in revenge, but in clarity, he gains something far more valuable than control. He gains himself back. You don't need to fight to be seen. You don't need to chase someone into valuing your love. The moment you feel the weight of a relationship pulling you away from your purpose, your focus, your self-respect, that's the moment you stop trying to win someone else and start choosing peace. Because peace, brother, is the prize. And not everyone qualifies to share it with you. In today's world, we're told that love is about compromise, about endurance, about giving people second, third, even 10th chances. But Stoicism teaches us something different. It teaches us to lead with clarity, to value our energy, to recognize that not every connection is sacred. Some are tests. Some are distractions, and your job is to know the difference before it costs you your center. So if you've ever found yourself trapped in the kind of relationship that chips away at your spirit, I hope you remember this. You are not here to prove your worth to anyone. You are here to protect it, to live in alignment, to lead with quiet confidence. That is what we build here. That is what ultimate Stoicism is all about. If this message spoke to something inside you, something maybe you couldn't quite name but deeply felt, then I invite you to join us. Subscribe to this channel. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Share your experience. Because you're not alone. And sometimes, all it takes is one reminder, one voice of truth, to shift the entire way you see yourself. So let's keep growing, keep rising, and above all, keep choosing peace. I'll see you in the next one.